All right. Puffs and cheers. Welcome back to Talking and Token. We got, I'm fanboying. I already told him, a super special guest. Already nervous talking about it, but the one and only Concrete.
What's up?
hanging
What's
out
up?
with
What's
us.
up? Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
your time with us, man. It's a big
All
deal.
good.
Big weekend for you, opening up the new spot.
Yeah.
So
Nah, man, it's been cool, man. Shout out to Laugh Factory. Shout out to the whole management staff and Harry Basil. They've been very gracious in getting me to do these these shows with them. And I'm blessed enough to have closed down the Tropicana Laugh Factory. We did the last shows there, and Harry was like, "Hey, do you want to do opening weekend here?" And I was like, "Dude, of course, let's get it done. That'd be dope."
that was one of my later questions. But before that, for the people who might not know, and then for our shows a little newer, can you let the people know who Concrete is, what Concrete does, all the goodies?
Yeah, dude. My name is Concrete. I'm from the 818, just north of LA, and I'm just, I'm a entertainer. I don't even know if I want to say just comedian because I'm, I act as well. I do music and I used to shoot for 12 years, and now that I'm, this comedy stuff is kind of, well, at least stand up has been fairly new for going almost on 4 years. And I've been doing social media comedy for like about, I want to say 7 years now. And yeah, man. So I'm just, I don't know, social media comedic influence. I don't know. They call me all kinds of things. I just do entertainment.
He wears all the hats. He is
I'll wear whatever
entertainment.
hat they give on me,
And I heard you on one of your interviews before, and I thought it was really cool. Can you explain why you picked the name Concrete?
So in 2008, my best friend, my partner, he was like my manager. He was even my hype man on stage when I used to rap. He passed away in 2008. And that was like a trivial part of my life. And I was trying to figure things out. I was still, fairly young. I was maybe about 23, 24. And, man, we're partying, we're having a good time. We're touring, we're doing our thing. And when he passed away, it was kind of one of those things where it was like eye-opening. And I kind of felt that I needed to grow up. I needed to mature. And just like concrete, when you lay it, it becomes a solid foundation to be able to grow on from there. And it's not the sexiest name, but I felt like it was something meaningful to me,
Yeah, and it is. It stands for what you do. You build that foundation over so many years ago. Did the little thing in the past, then started shooting videos, morning, like your songs are playing and everything. So you started a solid foundation, and now that building's all the way here.
Yeah, like I was, even now, like I didn't, even like maybe a couple years ago, I thought about maybe changing my name because I didn't think it was gonna like catch on or people, like people would Google me or I would just curiosity, I would like just Google concrete and like a bunch of concrete companies would pop up. And then so I was kind of like, man, maybe this ain't gonna work for me to try to be a household name type of thing. If I want to be a household name, concrete's kind of weird. But now it's kind of stuck. And I was like, you know what? If The Rock can do it, I can do it. And then eventually he went changed his name to Dwayne Johnson, but that's his real name, government name. But everybody knows him as The Rock, so
we all know you as Concrete.
There you go.
Some before that might know him as Beretta, but that's a whole story too. I was going to tell you that I was going to ask you, growing up in Cali too, Power 106, Biggie. I'm already nervous. See, but Baker Boys, Big Boys Neighborhood was always on in the mornings before school. And now you had your one song playing, you got the new song playing, and now you host it sometimes, Brown Bag in the mornings. Yeah. How does that feel going full circle?
Man, dude, I used to go to Power 106 and hoping that they would play my song. I used to have this like, I guess when you're growing up and you're young, you're kind of naive to how the industry works or how the world works in general. And so I used to go outside the radio station and have my CD, and I thought I was gonna have like this, this miracle or like this kind of thing, like where they were gonna come out and hear my song and they were gonna be like, "Come upstairs, we're gonna blow you up," And I used to always hope, and it just unfortunately didn't happen that way. They ended up playing my song 5 years later when I ended up getting management, and so shout outs to Steve LaBelle, Sean and Lewis, and Felly Fell that broke my record at the time.
Working.
Yeah, we working. And then so, fast forward, man, 15, 20 years later, dude, to be hosting the morning radio show at Power 106 is just like, man, this is crazy, dude. Because you think about it, like when you think about radio, you think of, you know, you do think of the Ryan Seacrest's, and you think about the big boys of the world, and you think about the Breakfast Clubs, and you know this, that, and the third. And now to be a part of a morning show on a huge station like Power 106, and arguably one of the biggest markets in the world, it's insane, dude.
What would the younger you say to you? Like, you got everything on Power, man. That's dope. I know you were
took
pushing.
You long enough?
Didn't know there was obstacles back then, like you said. I just thought it was easy.
Yeah, dude. There's man. Like people think, you know, like because a lot of people, even when they, you know, people that are probably fans of me now, man, dude, like you blow up fast, and I'm like, bro, I've been doing this since I was 15. I don't know anything different. I don't know. I've had odd jobs, but like I've, you know, it was never like I never had a job for years, like probably 8 months, 6 months, and then it was like, all right, I gotta go live my dream. I gotta go chase my dream.
For sure.
So to be chasing the dream for 20 years, people think shit happens overnight, when in reality it doesn't, bro. I've been working on this since I was 15. You know?
We're about the same age. We put in some time. Yeah.
It takes time, dude. I mean, granted, for some people it happens sooner rather than later, and that's beautiful, you know? I just I took my own route every time.
And since you did, bro, like it led you to, like you said, playing one of the last shows at the Tropicana Casino. You're opening here. You've done Wise Guys. You're all over the places. Like for us in Vegas, like I don't know if you understand how much history that. Like you close one down, you're opening another one. How does that feel to you? Do you ever think about that sometimes?
Yeah, but it's just, you know, like dude, to close down like one of the first comedy clubs, I believe in Vegas. I think it was here for like what 25, 30. I'm probably more than that. And you know, I mean, some of the great comics played at that on that stage. Not only that, but when you think of like the Tropicana, you think of like, you know, the golden era of Vegas type of deal. You know,
for sure.
So yeah, man, it was dope. You know, I remember coming here as a kid with my parents for the first time in Vegas, and you know, we didn't like my parents didn't have the money, and you know, they didn't know that rooms were cheap, so we stayed in the car. I remember we just stayed in the car. You know what I'm saying? Fell asleep in the car, and then like they were just driving. And at one point, I was like, okay, like when do we get to the hotel? And then we ended up falling asleep, and we just woke up. You know, so you know, I remember like when I brought my dad for that, we talked about that story, and now, you know, you're seeing the billboards, and we're driving everywhere, and I'm 30, 40, 100 foot billboard. It's crazy, man. It's just, you know, that's right. But again, I'm just enjoying it, man. I don't know when this is gonna end. You know, I don't take it for granted. I'm just enjoying the moment, and you know, when it ends, it ends. But I just want to make sure that I grasp it, you know?
Bro, I remember when I was a kid coming from Cali, my folks had like the 90s van, and they had like a sofa that turned into a bed.
Like the Astro van?
Yeah, bro. We had 4 people in there sleeping in the parking lot at the Tropicana. So I totally understand that. That's funny. And then one of the other things, your people come from Nayarit too, right? Yeah. My mom does too. She was so
beautiful.
big. She's my mom's got dementia. She remembered. If you see him, tell him I said hi. So I gotta tell you before I get home. And she's like, "Hey, I remember this part." I'm like, "Damn." But one of the things we wanted to ask was, I know you do so many skits. You do the salesman, you do the McMuffins with the McFlurries and the McDonald's ones. You got your brands. What is your favorite character to do if you had to choose one? And they're so good. We were looking at them. We were going to pick one.
Because I feel like every character has a piece of me. But if I was going to tell you any character, probably the Broke Homie.
We were way off. I was going to say the McDonald's one. She said the car salesman. But okay.
Yeah, cool. Because every character has a piece of me. Like, you know, Chuck Deals is crazy. You know?
I love Chuck Deals, bro.
But the Broke Homie, because I've been that Broke Homie for a long time. But you know what I'm saying? Like, and I've been the other side, you know what I'm saying? So like I like playing both characters. Like one of them is just me, and then it's like the Broke Homie. And I think you know, I mean, it's like real life situations like that happen, you know. But I don't know, dude. It's just I like doing the stuff with my dad. But as far as characters, the Rebel stuff was cool. You know, I mean, I did that for a short time, but it impacted. It was a big impact when I did those. When I did those sketches for the Rebels, it was a huge impact. You started seeing like more pages were popping out about 90s parties, and then all of a sudden there was an explosion, and people started throwing big old shows, and I was like, oh shit, we kicked that off. Like, I could honestly probably say that I kicked that shit off. Me and Jay Valentino kicked it off.
Hell yeah!
And now they're doing big events and 90s parties and this and that, and I'm like, that's dope. You know, I was able to some degree put a a little spark plug in there.
Put your fingerprints on it.
But yeah, I mean, I love all those. It's like my characters are like my kids, bro. Like I love them all the same, you know. I don't have a favorite, but you know, I mean, if I could, it'd be, you know, I don't know, Tepic. I would like to do a movie. I would like to do a movie with Tepic. We are doing something with Chuck Deals. It's called It's called Matt's Included. It's gonna be releasing soon. And you guys will get to see like it's a short film. It's like a 40-minute episode. But you guys will be able to see it and hopefully donate to the cause because we want to make more. We're going to be selling it just for a few dollars. And if you want to, you know, you go to a website, you'll be able to go to matsincluded.com, pay for it, and then watch it, and then give us some feedback. And then the more people that watch it, the more we'll be able to create.
That sounds like a good way to go, is get the people behind to get theirs and they're funding because they show you what they want, what you want to see.
Yeah, that's it, bro, you know? And they'll get to see Chuck Deals and a bunch of other actors and comedians in there.
And then, I saw you on another episode because I was like, man, I got to watch some of these, right? And so you did one with, well, first of all, before I get to that, you said you put some of you into your characters and we saw Clica. And man, your character, like, bro, I was like, oh, why would you? Like, it was just had me up and down. And is that something I want to ask, like, pieces of your people when you grew up, that was the uncle? Or was that just something you just imagine and this is who he needs to be?
Nah, I mean, I was definitely around people like that. I was definitely around the hustlers. I was around the drug dealers, and I was around the people that worked hard too. So like, I know both sides. And, you know, being a first generation Mexican American, you definitely have to work your ass off from the moment you come here, you know, like my parents did. And so I get to see both sides of it. I got to see the struggle, you know what I'm saying? You know, the struggle aspect. And I also got to see the people that wanted to take the shortcut and get to the riches faster. And sometimes, you know, you got to do a little bad to do a lot of good, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I feel that was Theo's character. It was like, let me do a little bad to do some good. And the bad is obviously selling drugs and being a trafficker. And then the other part is being able to take care of your family and so that they don't have to struggle. So there's always a little bit of yin and yang in life, you know, and I think that movie really represents what it is to be that, you know.
That surprise at the end, and I was like, oh, okay.
I was surprised too. I didn't know. You know, because you know, like you just shoot the movie, and then that last scene in the movie, we shot that like a year later.
Oh, what?
From the original production of the film, we shot that a year later. Yeah,
that's how movie magic works.
Movie magic works, but you would never know. So yeah, it was literally a complete year later, and I didn't know how they were gonna put it in there because they were like, I was like, "Where's this going?" They're like, "You'll find out." And I was like, "Okay." You know, I don't want to give up the movie people that haven't seen it, right? But I didn't know how the movie was gonna end. I was like, "Okay, what happens?" Right? And then so they brought me back to shoot more, and then, you know, I was like, what's going to happen then? So they didn't tell me. And then once I saw it, I was like, got it.
Yeah, no. Like
okay, I said, cool. Makes sense.
You killed that part, bro. Like I said, what you were trying to play is like that drama part and where you can relate to people. And yeah, I was like, oh, I've seen a couple uncles like that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's like funny. People thought like people were like giving me like, yo, I thought you were gonna be funny in this, and I was like, "Oh no, man! I never said it was a comedy. You know, it's a drama film, and the fact that, you know, Jimmy Umila and Sony Pictures agreed to give me the role, even though I'm a comedian and people expect funny, the fact that they still gave me the role and they trusted me with it was dope.
That's my man, though. From comedy to dramas to name it, he's got it. He'll do it for you. And I know you got a busy schedule, so I'll do one question or two more, but real quick. One is, and you did it earlier, you're very open about, you know, I hit the wall, or, you know, I got sad this time, but I had to pick myself up. And for us and for me, like, I always think that's a big thing where people are able to be honest and let people know, like, hey, it's not always 100%. Like, sometimes you go down and up, but is that important to you to share those type of stories? Like, I've noticed you're kind of more open than other people.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, you know, people, sometimes people think of us as celebrities as people that are like, you know, unbreakable, untouchable or whatever. But it's like, first of all, I don't even see myself as a celebrity. I just see myself as a guy that's doing what he loves, right? I think it's you know, it's kind of like Spider-Man, right? Like with all this power comes great responsibility in a way. And I know it sounds corny, but with But with my platform and with all that, like, yeah, I think it's important for people to know that we all struggle. It doesn't matter. Even me as a comedian, like I make people laugh. Yeah, and even on my bad days, I'm still trying to do a skit to make people laugh. You know, because that's my therapy. It's me doing comedy was my therapy. I wasn't doing it for other people. I was doing it because I was in a bad place in life. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was like, man, I'm gonna go back and do what I was doing as a kid. And I used to do sketches as a kid. I used to do funny things and do all kinds of stuff at the family parties and trying to make people laugh. And I've always been that person that wants to make people laugh, the people pleaser kid, you know?
Yeah.
And so when I was going through my shit back in 2019, 2020, I was just kind of like, man, I really got to do this and just do it for me because it makes me feel good. And then once I started doing it more and more, then you started getting the recognition. Then it becomes like people were sending me DMs like, hey, man, I'm just, like I'm going through chemo or I'm going through depression. You got me through this, or you helped me with this. Or I've had even couples like, yo, man, like, our marriage was rocky and we started watching your videos, and that's something that me and my wife bond about together. Like, it's crazy, bro. So now I kind of feel like not an obligation, but it's definitely like a calling, And I always say this, like, I used to have a passion for music, and I still do. I mean, I have it tattooed on my arm. Like, I love music, and that was my passion, but that wasn't necessarily my calling. My calling is to make people laugh. And I think that's what God put me here to do, and that's what I intend to do. And I think that's the beauty of it, to really be transparent, bro. Like, you gotta be transparent in order for people to feel like they can relate to you. Be transparent. I think I'd be lying if I sat here and I told you that every day is perfect, because it's not.
Yeah,
we're all human.
And I think that's beautiful, because I know in our industry, like, people love the plant, and they were like, oh man, I want to go work at a store, but then they don't get happy. And I'm like, go find your passion. Maybe it's growing the plant. Maybe we have a DJ who was like, this isn't my favorite thing, I'm doing it, but I love music. Now he's like DJs for like cannabis parties and certain big parties like that. So seeing people follow their passion like you and other people, that's just encouraging. And I always appreciate people that share their story to push others.
For sure.
And then that's pretty much how I wanted to end. It was just, if there's anything you had, like, advice for anybody who's kind of struggling, or like, man, this ain't working, I'm not getting the views on this or whatever, what would you say to these Betty?
As far as people on social media?
Everywhere, all around, because they all seem to be struggling pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, dude, like, you got to find something that obviously that you're passionate about. And if you can make your passion your calling, then that's even better, right? Like, I was able to somehow mix it all together. I used to shoot, I used to do music, I did all this, and now it's everything that I've done in the past 20 years, that I've learned in the past 25 years since I was 15. It's been like, okay, cool. Like, this is where we're going to grow. This is where we're going to move. And it's all coming together. But as far as advice, I would just say, be consistent, be original, find your lane. Nobody can take away something that you created that you made and that's original to you. I always tell people, like, if you follow a trend, trends come and go. And if you're going to be a trend guy or a trend person, your career's going to come and go, because trends don't last. They're here today, and 3-4 days it's something else,
Sure.
And that's just the way it is. So if you create something that's original and that only your page or only you can provide for them, like that specific thing, then they're never going to leave, because they're going to go to you for that. No different than if you want a Big Mac, you go to McDonald's. If you want, pizza, you go to fucking Pizza Hut or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to give them something that they can't get nowhere else.
Yeah.
And that is the thing about creativity, is that, yeah, man, you got to be original. If not, it's not going to work. And you got to be true to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to be somebody else and do all this fakery shit, because people ain't dumb, man. They see right through it.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. That's why you've been around for this long, man. You just keep the hustle, and everybody knows that you're true to who you are.
Yeah, that's it, brother. That's it.
And like I said, man, we appreciate you just sold out weekends coming out here. Last day of the tour with us, you sold out. We'll see you tonight, man. And thank you so much for being on, man. I don't even know what to say.